Welcome to the SmartCircle podcast, the only podcast on the internet that promises Brandon if you want him. But first, we're talking about sleep today. Don't snooze. It's only 5 seconds. Your 5 seconds of silence brought to you by SmartCircle. So, yes, if you want Brandon to host, say, your quinceañera, your bar mitzvah, for God's sake, your 70th birthday, shoot us a message, smartclepodcast.com, and we're going to send Brandon over. And he's going to, all your hosting needs, Brandon's going to take care of.
I'd love to host a quinceañera. I would totally love to host a quinceañera.
Of all the things I mentioned, I would love for you to host a quinceañera. I just want to know how that would go.
Great. 15-year-old Mexican girls dancing. I'm in, dude. Sounds great. Sounds absolutely great.
SmartClepodcast.com if you want Brandon. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's your headline today. Your first step toward a better mood. This comes via the great Christina Carlon in the New York Times.
I think it's like Caron, but maybe I'm wrong.
This is a little sciencey, but go ahead with your Mocha Maga meter, please.
I'm going to be fully honest with our audience because we are fully honest with our audience. Both of us have had computer problems over the last couple of days.
You speak for yourself.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I have. My computer had some issues, so I was not able to do I did the article and did the deep dive on that, but she works for the Times. I'm giving her a straight 5 on the Mocha meter.
Just for the record, Brandon, the dog ate my homework on the way in, so I don't know.
She did go to the University of Columbia at Missouri.
We got a flat tire. Dog ate your homework.
Oh, okay. Hey, you know what? I'm just doing the best I can, trying to be honest with our audience. I know you just make a joke about our audience, but I actually care about them.
Americans are chronically sleep deprived. 1/3 of adults in the United States.
Article. Good.
They say get less than 7 hours. Let me just say that again because Brandon won't let me get it out. Americans are sleep deprived. 1/3 of adults in the United States say they get less than 7 hours a night. Teenagers are far worse. About 70% of high school students don't get enough sleep on school nights. And by the way, Brandon, it's having a profound effect on our mental health. An analysis of 19 studies found that while sleep deprivation worsened a person's ability to think clearly or perform certain tasks, it had a greater negative effect on mood. And when the National Sleep Foundation conducted a survey, half of those who said they slept less than 7 hours each weekday also reported having depressive symptoms. Some research even indicates that addressing insomnia may help prevent postpartum depression and anxiety. This is the moment where we give Brandon a chance to humble brag about what a great sleeper he is and that he's never had sleep problems. Brandon, go.
Well, anyone that's followed the show knows that's exactly the opposite of what I've ever said, is that I am an old man and I struggle sleeping. I don't struggle falling asleep. That's easy, but it's the staying asleep that's tough. So, yeah, I am probably right in this category of people that struggle with their sleep. I've never had insomnia, though. If that's a humble brag, then that's my humble brag. I've never had insomnia.
Okay, here's how I would like to start this, Brandon.
Oh, here we go.
I feel like as a human being, I know that I should drink some water every day. I should probably not eat ding-dongs as
this is a bingo square for you, by the way. Drink water on the Serengeti?
Eat ding-dongs. Probably should have a meal that consists of non-ding-dong foods. And by the way, Brandon, I should probably sleep at night. Who does not know that they should sleep at least 7 hours of sleep at night?
Well, first off, I'd like to say I would love to live on a ding dong only diet because they're amazing, so delicious. But you're right. You're right. You always do that. You're like, who doesn't know these things?
I don't understand this.
I don't think that it's a matter of people don't know it, Larry. It's a matter of, can you put the article talks about the fact that there's this. One of the articles, I don't even know where it was, but they talk about the fact that we only remember the good times. We don't remember the bad times. So people, it's sort of this weird survival mechanism of human beings to just do what we want to do because that helps us survive. I don't know why, but people don't. They like to stay up late.
Here's the deal. I think our body knows, like we talk about hormones and, supernatural events where your body will lift a car off of your
testosterone,
yeah,
sure.
Every once in a while, your body
adrenaline
will give you adrenaline to do stuff. So, for instance, like when I had my kids and they were very young, we were.
You lifted a car off your kids?
I did not, but I was getting less sleep.
Sure.
So your body can do it, but it's not supposed to for 40 years.
No.
And so I think sometimes people conflate the fact that oh, for a little while you can not get sleep, but that's not a regular habit.
No, no, it's definitely not a regular habit. My do-gooder wife has decided that we need to take in a baby for a month to help out a woman who is in need. And
Humble
I've,
brag.
no, no, this is the sad brag because I basically voted no, 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 no. And the baby came home anyway. But the point is, she's very cute and sweet. But at 2 in the morning, when she starts screaming, I'm just like, oh, sweet Mary, mother of God, I'm too old for this. So yeah, I think when you're younger and you have children, like the human body is meant to have children at a young age
Ugh.
because you are physically stronger and can handle it. But when you're old like me and you need that sleep and that restful sleep and you get disrupted by a scream, it sucks. So yeah, I'm agreeing with you, Larry, that it's when you're younger, I think you can do it, but it gets harder as you get older. So one of the things this article did say too, though, is one of the most sleep deprived groups of all are middle school and high school kids.
Oh, that's
Now,
the
you
worst.
have
Yeah.
middle school and high school kids. Do you find that to be true?
Well, totally true. But here's what I will say: I went to school at 8 o'clock my entire freaking life.
Right,
There was never a time that I didn't start school before 8. It was always 8.
right.
My daughter freaking high school starts at 9:30. So
Really?
there is some science
Oh,
that
that's good.
these schools are beginning to realize young kids are not supposed to wake up early.
Well, wait a second. So does that mean they stay in school later till like 5 or 6?
No,
They start later and they end earlier?
something. I don't get me started. I don't,
Okay, yeah, you just unleashed the Kraken right there,
Hey,
my friend.
stay
I
on
don't even
target.
understand that.
Stay
I
focused,
am
Larry.
on target,
You
but my
stay
point,
come on.
you started with the no, you started with a simple supposition that said schools are figuring it out
They are
because they're letting them sleep
because they
later.
know the body clock of a teenager.
Sounds to me like the schools are just figuring out that they could actually charge you. You attend one of those private expensive schools in San Francisco, so maybe they just say, hey, we can get less
Okay.
that for
I'm
more.
gonna just
Okay,
rein you back in.
all right.
Here is what those people out there. I live in Silicon Valley, and I feel like the mantra is mostly I'll sleep when I'm dead. And
Right,
people just pound and grind.
right.
And there are some people that could just Bill Clinton famously could just sleep 4 hours a night and keep going. And there are some people that could do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it's just that's rare. That's not. I don't know if anybody can really do that. I mean, it's like, yeah, there's probably one in a million that can freakishly do that. But think about the one of the other things the article talked a lot about was the sort of medication that so many
Mm.
people, and we've talked about on the show. I had a friend that was like, couldn't go to sleep at night without a sleep aid. Like I was like, what? Like for months taking Ambien every night. I was like, that is not healthy. So, I think that that's part of your sleep until I'll sleep when I'm dead. Well, the fact is, you're probably just going to die younger because you've got to sleep.
But there's I guarantee there's a lot of people that take Ambien and they're not dying.
Yeah, well, I mean, but you don't know the root cause. I mean, what if they die at 52 as opposed to 79? I mean, you don't know what the long-term effects of this stuff are. And also, it's not just that, it's also the mental health part of this, right? That sleep is a critical part of mental health. And if you're not sleeping, your mental health is going to suffer.
Well, I've definitely had little bits of bouts of insomnia every once in a while. I understand it. I don't have insomnia, but I've like been there ish. Something gets on your mind and you're freaking out. I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to be tired tomorrow. You kind of get that whole thing. But once again, sleep is a part of life. That's the system we're set up. Believe in God, not God, whatever. Human beings eat food, we breathe air, and we sleep. It's a part of life. So you got
Right.
to treat it as a part of life.
Yeah, and in a sense, you just kind of, I don't know if it struck a nerve, struck a chord, whatever, but like in a sense, what people have said is they don't want to listen to the sort of the natural order or the natural order of their own bodies. And they've said, oh, well, sleep just kind of gets in the way of me having
Yeah.
fun. Well, the
Or
problem is when you were
working.
right, but if you go back to your Serengeti days, right, when we're all living in teepees or caves or wherever, we went to sleep with the when the sun went down and we got up when the sun got up, right? Because we had to. That's just the way it was. There was no option B. That's what you did because that's what your body needed to do in order to survive. Now, people didn't live as long back then because of lots of reasons, but I wonder if we haven't sort of stepped outside of the natural order in a sense to say, because we're not forced to wake up. Like you like to camp, or sometimes you like to camp, and I know lots of people around here love to camp. I like camping sometimes, but the thing I really like about I hate the sleeping at camp because I can never sleep. Speaking of sleep, it's like uncomfortable. I got to get up to the
Yep.
bathroom and it sucks.
Totally.
But the one thing I do love about it is that you get up earlier and you go to bed earlier. I mean, when I'm camping, dude, I am up at first light. And when you go to bed, the light, it gets dark, you have a little fire, and then you go to bed. So everybody's in bed by 9 o'clock. That is probably the way it's supposed to be.
And that's Brandon. I will say this. You never really probably need in your life to do shrooms. I want to do them. I've never done them.
Oh my God.
But
Seriously?
I'm assuming not sleeping and getting a good night's sleep is that I was in a fraternity. I had to do Hell Week. I basically didn't sleep for a week. And it was like I was tripping balls. I mean, you're basically tripping if you don't sleep.
Well, right. I mean, there's all sorts of chemicals in your brain that do not, in a sense, rejuvenate if you don't sleep. I mean, people. One of the things they do for prisoners if they want to extract
Yeah.
information is sleep deprivation. So it's not. I mean, sleep deprivation can be incredibly, incredibly dangerous. I mean, I can't remember all the chemicals and what are they, cortisols or whatever. Anyway, we're not doctors, but we play them on the show. But there's all sorts of things that reboot in your sleep, and if you're not sleeping, you're not rebooting.
I'm going to start where I began. I started by offering Brandon to come to your house to host the quinceanera. But as you heard, he's currently taking care of a baby and not getting a lot of sleep. So maybe
brutal.
we just pause on the Brandon to your quinceanera for just, another month or so, Brandon?
No, I'll soldier on. I'll soldier on. I'll beat your quinceanera if you need me.
This just in. Brandon's back on for your quinceanera. Find us at Smarticle Podcast. Brandon, thank you for having such a kind heart.